are the news making headlines around the world. First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister Sheikh Sabah Al-Khalid Al-Hamad Al-Sabah meets with the President of Greece, Carlos Papoulias. The Iraqi Parliament delays voting on a request to grant the Prime Minister emergency powers as the North slips out of government control. Hundreds of mourners join a funeral in northern Gaza for a Hamas member killed in an Israeli airstrike overnight. And the US resumes its drone program in Pakistan. In our first item, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah sent a cable of congratulations to His Excellency President Benigno Aquino III of the Republic of Philippines on his country's National Day. His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah sent a cable of congratulations to His Excellency President Benigno Aquino III of the Republic of Philippines on his country's National Day. And His Highness Sheikh Jabal Mubarak Al-Hamad Al-Sabah, the Prime Minister, also sent a similar cable. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah sent a cable of congratulations to His Excellency President Vladimir Putin of the Russian Federation Republic on his country's National Day. His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah sent a cable of congratulations to His Excellency President Vladimir Putin of the Russian Federation Republic on his country's National Day. Highness Sheikh Jabal Mubarak Al-Hamad Al-Sabah, the Prime Minister, also sent a similar cable. The First Deputy Premier and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sheikh Sabah Al-Khalid Al-Hamad Al-Sabah, met in Athens today with President Carlos Papoulias of the Greek Republic on the occasion of his visit to the Greek capital on the 50th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between the two countries. Sheikh Sabah Al-Khalid conveyed to the Greek President the best wishes and greetings of His Highness the Emir, Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, wishing him and the people of Greece continued progress and stability. For his part, President Papoulias hailed the reached level of relations between the two countries in various domains, pointing out that the leadership of the two countries were willing to further those relations to the best interests of their people. The meeting was attended by the Director of Europe Department, Ambassador Walid Al-Khbaizi, the Director of the First Deputy Premier and Minister of Foreign Affairs Office, Ambassador Sheikh Dr. Ahmed Nasser Al-Mohammed Al-Sabah, and Kuwait's Ambassador to Greece, Ra'id Abdullah Sayyid Rajab Al-Rifai. The First Deputy Premier and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sheikh Sabah Al-Khalid Al-Hamad Al-Sabah, met in Athens today with the Prime Minister of Greece, Andrias Samaranis. They discussed during the meeting prospects of further strengthening relations between the two countries, beside other issues of mutual interest. The meeting was attended by the Managing Director of General Authority for Investment, Badr Saad, the Director of Europe Department, Walid Al-Khbaizi, and the Director of the First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister's Office, Ambassador Sheikh Dr. Ahmed Nasser Al-Mohammed Al-Sabah. The meeting was also attended by the Director General of the Establishment of Direct Investment Encouragement, Sheikh Dr. Mishal Jaber Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, Kuwait's Ambassador Ra'id Sayyid Rajab Al-Rifai, and a number of senior officials at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The First Deputy Premier and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sheikh Sabah Al-Khalid Al-Hamad Al-Sabah, met in Athens today with his Greek counterpart, Evangelos Venizelos, and discussed with him bilateral relations and other issues of mutual interest. The talks were attended by the Managing Director of General Authority for Investment, Badr Saad, the Director of Europe Department, Walid Al-Khbaizi, and the Director of the First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister's Office, Ambassador Sheikh Dr. Ahmed Nasser Al-Mohammed Al-Sabah. The meeting was also attended by the Director General of the Establishment for Direct Investment, Sheikh Dr. Mishal Jaber Al-Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, Director of the Legal Department, Ghanem Sagr Al-Ghanem, and a number of senior officials at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The Iraqi Parliament today delayed voting on a request to grant the Prime Minister emergency powers as the North slips out of government control. Just 128 out of the 325 MPs turned up for the vote on Nouri al-Malki's request. In the north, Kurdish forces claimed control of the oil city of Kirkuk, saying government forces had fled. More details in the following report.
Iraqi Kurdish forces say they have taken full control of the northern oil city of Kirkuk as the army flees before a rebel offensive nearby. Kurdish spokesman said, quote, "The whole of Kirkuk has fallen into the hands of the Peshmerga, and no Iraqi army soldiers remain in Kirkuk. Kurdish fighters are seen as a buffer against insurgents who seized towns in the region this week. The fall of the city of Mosul sent shockwaves across the Middle East. Led by the Islamic State in Iraq and the Levant, or the ISIS, the insurgents are believed to be planning to push further south to the capital Baghdad and other regions. But it appears the insurgents want to avoid tangling with Iraqi Kurds in provinces bordering Nineveh province, where Mosul is located, because they are a more cohesive fighting force. A new insurgent offensive could come from the west, where they control the city of Fallujah, 69 kilometers from Baghdad. Yesterday, Iraq's government indicated a willingness for the United States military to conduct airstrikes against the radical militants. Several U.S. officials said Washington views the situation as extremely urgent and is looking to see what more support the United States can provide to the Iraqi government, in addition to weapons and vehicles it has already provided. Part of this will be giving Iraqi officials intelligence they can use to go after the ISIS. U.S. officials said assistance could also involve training and kinetic activity, but they wouldn't specify whether those options included airstrikes. One of the officials said that there was a clear breakdown in Iraqi security, but Washington believes it was a combination of factors, including the fact that Iraqi forces were already stretched thin by limited success against the ISIS in Anbar province.
A funeral procession for a Hamas member killed in an Israeli airstrike took place in the Gaza Strip today. Dozens of mourners in the city of Beit Lahia attended the funeral, while 3 other people were wounded from the attack. From Gaza, Majd al-Wahidi has more.
A Palestinian man was killed by an Israeli airstrike targeting a motorbike in the northern Gaza Strip last night. Gaza's health ministry identified the victim as Muhammad al-Adoub. 2 others were also wounded in the same evening raid.
We reject any kind of truce with Israelis. We want to tell them that we won't forget the blood of our martyrs. Days are between us, and we will keep resisting the enemy in all means.
The Al-Nasir Salah al-Dini Brigades, the military wing of the Popular Resistance Committees, said that Al-Adoub was affiliated to the group. According to the Israeli army and the Shin Bet security service, Al-Adoub belonged to extremist Salafi groups and was involved in firing rockets at Israel over the past 2 years. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said after the strike that Al-Adoub represents the true face of Hamas.
I think the occupation is trying to impose a new fact on the ground. It wants to target any Palestinian who think they're facing the occupations. He wants to create a new reality by taking advantage of the Palestinian reconciliations and the kind of abuse, as currently there's no real observe of the security situations.
After the Palestinian Unity Government was formed, Israel said it would hold the Palestinian administration in Ramallah responsible for any rocket attacks out of Gaza. Earlier on Wednesday morning, Palestinian militants fired a Qassam rocket at southern Israel that landed near a major road in the Eshkol area. No casualties or damages were reported. Meanwhile, Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas immediately condemned such attack. Yesterday's airstrike was the first Israeli action against Gaza since rival Palestinian factions formed a unity government. Experts say this is a clear message from Israel to the international community in addition to the Palestinian government. They also expect new escalations in the coming days as an attempt to provoke Gaza militants and cause another split between the Palestinian government and the resistance factions. Majd al-Wahidi, Kuwait TV, Gaza.
4 UN peacekeepers from Chad have been killed in a suicide attack on their base in northern Mali. They died when a car packed with explosives was crashed into the entrance of a military base in the town of Ogelhok, 100 kilometers north of Kidal, which rebels seized last month from Mali's army. Both ethnic Tuareg separatist rebels and al-Qaeda-linked militants remain active in northern Mali. UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon said the latest attack would not diminish the resolve of the organization to support Mali. The U.S. resumed its drone program in Pakistan with 2 strikes on militant strongholds in the North Waziristan tribal region overnight. Reports said at least 16 suspected militants were killed in the strikes. The drone attacks come days after a militant attack on Karachi airport that killed 39, including the 10 attackers. Washington agreed to suspend its drone program in December to allow Islamabad to pursue peace talks with the Pakistani Taliban. But pressure has been mounting on the Pakistani authorities to launch a ground offensive in North Waziristan amid a breakdown in peace talks. Pakistan courts struck down today a government order barring former military ruler Pervez Musharraf, who faces treason charges, from leaving the country. The government can, however, still appeal, while the case has put the Pakistani government at odds with the country's powerful military. Musharraf's lawyer said today's order would be applicable after 15 days, and that was at the federal government's discretion to file an appeal. Musharraf resigned as president in 2008 and later left the country, but returned to Pakistan in March of 2013, hoping for a political comeback. China says Japan's accusations of Chinese fighter jets flying abnormally close to Japanese military aircraft over East China Sea are aimed at deceiving the international community. China's defense ministry said today that Japan's repeated accusations were aimed at furthering the deception of the international community, smearing the image of Chinese military and manufacturing tensions in the region. A Chinese foreign ministry spokeswoman said the Japanese jets had taken dangerous actions, stressing that the tense situation in air over East China Sea was completely caused by dangerous actions taken by Japanese jets against Chinese jets. The European Commission, Russia and Ukraine again failed to solve a gas price row at talks, but said they would remain in touch ahead of a new deadline on Monday when Gazprom is threatening to cut off Ukraine's supplies. European Energy Commissioner Gunther Oettinger, who brokered the talks, said the Commission had drawn up a document laying out progress so far and a framework that could provide price certainty for a full year. Although the talks in Brussels on Wednesday failed to get a deal, he said that over the next 48 hours, the 3 sides would try to make progress through telephone contacts. Russian Energy Minister Alexander Novak also expressed openness to continue negotiations. The talks may stumble as Ukrainian Interior Minister said 3 tanks have crossed the border from Russia amid reports of fresh fighting. The Wildlife Protection Committee at the Kuwait Environment Protection Society held the 10th annual wildlife photo exhibition titled Photos of Plants from the Kuwaiti Desert at the National Library. The launch ceremony was attended by His Excellency Minister of Oil and Minister of State for National Assembly Affairs and Head of the Supreme Council for Environment, Dr. Ali Lameir. Here is more on the event in this report with Salim Al-Kendari.
During the opening speech of the 10th Annual Wildlife Photo Exhibition organized by KEPS, the Minister of Oil and Minister of State for National Assembly Affairs and the Head of the Supreme Council for Environment, Dr. Ali Lameir, said that Kuwait is rich with flora and fauna, which attracts many scientists and researchers. In addition, the Minister added that various laws have been issued, of which the recently issued law by the Parliament on environment protection is the first of its kind in Kuwait, which encouraged more efforts to enrich studies and experiments on local wildlife.
Speaking about the theme of this year's competition, we have chosen desert plants as the theme of the 10th Wildlife Photo Exhibition for many reasons, especially to focus on the plants as they are the basis of life and the source of food for all creatures. A total of 110 photos are displayed at the exhibition, choosing from more than 200 photos submitted by 51 participants. This exhibition aims to show people the wide variety of flora and to highlight the beauty of desert plants in Kuwait to protect and enjoy their beauty. This year, we particularly focus on the El Arfash, the national planet of Kuwait. The competition is open for everybody, and most of the participants are amateurs.
KEBS had a significant role in preparing the recent environment law, and the government's efforts in preserving the environment is well presented by various authorities that apply policies to preserve desert flora. From Kuwait National Library, this is Sam Kenderi reporting for the English News.
Moving on to local business news, where Kuwait Stock Exchange ended the last day of trading this week with the main indices all in red zone. The KSX 15 index fell by 5.42 points to end at 1,191.5 points. The price index lost 34.76 points to close at 7,244.13 points, and the weight index also dropped by 1.66 points to register at 487.3 points. Trades altogether came to 3,165 transactions worth about 17 million Kuwaiti dinars, with around 113 million shares changing hands. And in our final item tonight, the 2014 World Cup kicks off tonight in Brazil after a long period of preparations that was interrupted by protests and strikes. World Cup fans and stadium workers arrived early today for the tournament opener being held at 2300 hours Kuwait time in Brazil's largest city of Sao Paulo. Host nation Brazil will play Croatia in the tournament's first of 64 matches. Fans and workers both used the subway and train to arrive at the stadium with ease after a subway workers' strike earlier in the week had threatened to extend through today but was called off late on Tuesday. There were some disturbances ahead of the opening as police in Sao Paulo used tear gas to break up a protest against the Football World Cup. Reports said at least one person was arrested. For a chance to see our reports again, please visit our YouTube channel at MOI Kuwait News. Well, with that, we conclude our news bulletin. Thank you for joining us. Have a pleasant time. I'm Maham Tawa. Before we go, we remind you once again of our main top stories. Have a pleasant time and good night. First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister Sheikh Sabah Al-Khalid Al-Hamad Al-Sabah meets with the President of Greece, Carlos Papoulias. The Iraqi parliament delays voting on a request to grant the Prime Minister emergency powers as the north slips out of government control. Hundreds of mourners join a funeral in northern Gaza for a Hamas member killed in an Israeli airstrike overnight. And the US resumes its drone program in Pakistan.